you're looking to buy a video editing laptop, you picked the perfect time because all the 2024 models are starting to come out, which means all the 2023 models are going on sale. And let me tell you, the 2023 models are fantastic for video editing. I don't think we've ever seen a better year for video editing laptops. And the reason being is that almost every laptop that I'm going to show you on this lineup had great performance in where we have not seen that possible in the past. The technology and the CPU power and GPU power has finally come up to where it's like, okay, what we need is what we get and for a great price point. And now that price point is going on sale. 2024, we're seeing some updates, we're seeing some revisions, but I am not expecting to see landslide performance differences that will actually make a difference in the program on the day-to-day use. Maybe some differences in power efficiency, battery life, but if really we're just looking at performance and getting the job done, 2023 brought us amazing laptops. Now, also on slide 3, some unexpected results happened while at CES 2024, and I can't wait to tell you about that. There was a laptop I doubted, and it proved me wrong, so definitely hang out for that slide. Now, in this video, we're gonna start at the budget category and work our way all the way up to the high end, and I'm gonna talk through the specs. So no matter if you're working on 1080p footage or all the way up to 6K or 8K footage, I'm gonna tell you what specs you need. So if you don't see the laptop on the lineup, you're like, Ben, why didn't you show that laptop? I want this laptop. I don't see the laptop on your lineup. Why aren't you showing me that laptop? Well, I might just not like it, but it might be a great pick for you. So if you can look at the specs explained, understand how it works with the laptop you're considering, you'll be able to make a good purchasing decision. I'm here to educate you, not just tell you what to do like a small child, because you're not a small child, you're a smart human being. Okay, now first and foremost, let's get into the 1080p and light 4K video editing laptops. Now the first laptop on the lineup is the HP Pavilion laptop. This is one of the most affordable laptops I could find with specs that I was confident would do well with 1080p video editing. This is the Ryzen 5 7530U, so it's a low power processor. We're not gonna be able to see high peaks in the processing power. Therefore, I'm recommending this laptop for 1080p. Also, the reason it's 1080p is because it's 8 gigs of RAM. Now, if you know anything about Premiere Pro, it loves RAM for playback in the timeline. So whenever you're, editing your footage and it's in that timeline, you're moving clips around, that playback loves RAM. So if you have 16 gigs of RAM, it's gonna be smoother. 32 gigs, it's gonna be even smoother. So with only 8 gigs, I recommend 1080p because the resolution isn't so robust and therefore it won't take as much RAM and as much CPU power to process that footage and then therefore export that footage. RAM really does not affect the export time, but it does affect the timeline playback. Now we do have a 256 gig SSD in that laptop. That will be used up very quickly, especially if you're editing a lot of video. So I recommend picking up these Kingston drives. I've been a huge fan of these. I've used these like crazy. They're durable. They're fast. These are the Kingston XS 2000. You can get them in the 4000. I'll link them in the description below. These are the best drives I've used. I like the Samsungs as well, but these are my new favorites. Now, next up on the lineup, we have the Asus VivoBook 16. This is the i5 1240p, gonna be a little bit more powerful than that Ryzen 5 7530U, but it also comes in a Ryzen 7530U if you're interested, but I would personally recommend the Intel CPU on this one. Has 8 gigs of RAM, but you do have an option to get it from 256 to 512. Now, both of these laptops have lower quality displays, basically meaning they're gonna have a lower sRGB. They're not gonna be as color accurate. They're not going to be as bright. That's a way that brands save money. Now, I have entire videos on color accuracy, color gamut range, what it all means. I'll link it up here in the cards so you can go ahead and check those out. And if I forget to link it up in the cards, head on over to my channel, find the Tech Terms playlist, and watch all the videos on color accuracy because those are a really nice, robust explanation, and I don't want to spend too much time on this video talking through the intricacies of that. I've already filmed Tech Terms videos for that. Now, moving on to the Asus ZenBook 14 OLED. This is one of the best budget-friendly laptops on this lineup because it comes with an i5 13500H, which is a higher TDP processor. It's not gonna be a low power processor. It's gonna be a higher power processor, meaning you can get higher gigahertz on the CPU in order to produce faster results inside of Premiere Pro, playback, export times. So this is why I'm marking this one as 1080p and 4K, because you don't have a dedicated GPU. I wouldn't consider this one a full 4K video editing laptop because it will be a little bit laggy. That GPU definitely helps. But with that high TDP processor, that H series processor, we're gonna have much better performance. Keep in mind, this still has 8 gigs of RAM, so be cautious because as soon as you start multitasking, you're gonna run into some issues. And while we're on the conversation of RAM, we might as well dive into that now. RAM stands for Random Access Memory. Every time you open a program or an application on your laptop, you're going to pull from the RAM. So when you open Google Chrome, you'll use anywhere from 2 to 4 gigs of RAM. Let's say you open Spotify or Apple Music. You'll use RAM, maybe 1 to 2 gigs of RAM. Now you go ahead and open Premiere Pro. Well, now you're using anywhere from 6 to 12 gigs of RAM. So you can see that RAM is used up rather quickly. And every time you use up more RAM, if you use up the full amount, your system will start to bottleneck the different processes in order to conserve the RAM because it can only use as much RAM as it has. So as you upgrade your RAM to 16, 32 gigs, you produce more ceiling for your RAM, and therefore you have more multitasking capabilities. But RAM is even more important than just multitasking inside of video editing like Premiere Pro. As I mentioned earlier, RAM substantially increases your playback performance inside of the timeline in Premiere Pro. So where you have 16,177 individual frames in a project, you will drop less of those, aka you'll have a smoother playback with more RAM. I've done this test before where I had 8 gigs of RAM and the system dropped 8,000 frames. And then I've gone ahead and upgraded the RAM to 16 and it only dropped 3,000 frames out of the 16,177. So more RAM equals more performance from a multitasking standpoint and from a playback standpoint. Moving on, we have the Acer Swift 3 OLED and the Acer Swift X. Now these two are interesting laptops. We have the i7-13700H, which would be a great high TDP processor, but it comes with integrated graphics. Then we have the Ryzen 7 5800U, which is a little bit lower TDP processor, but we have a dedicated GPU. So both of these laptops are gonna have basically the same performance. It just depends on like what you want. You're gonna see a little bit cooler temperatures, a little bit quieter laptop out of the U series, the 5800U. And you're gonna see a little bit higher temperatures, a little bit higher performance out of the i7-13700H. The reason I have them listed together is because honestly, they're about the same laptop. They have the same panel, they have the same keyboard deck, they have the same form factor. They just have slightly different specs. So whatever you can find a better price on, honestly, that's the one I'd go for. You do have 100% sRGB on both of these versions. However, for the OLED version, you're gonna have 100% DCI-P3. So if you're looking for better color accuracy, I would go for the OLED version. Now looking at the Lenovo Yoga 7i, we have the i7-1355U, going to be a solid laptop. First laptop on this lineup with confident 16 gigs of RAM. So this is a laptop that I would say is gonna be the best fit on this whole lineup. Getting that 16 gigs of RAM is important because most of these laptops are not upgradable post-purchase. So if you buy it with 8 gigs, you're stuck with 8 gigs. So that Lenovo Yoga 7i is going to be a great price point. Keep an eye out for that one on sale for sure because we're going to have the new Lenovo Yogas coming out very soon. And that 7i is a little bit more budget friendly than the 9i. So that's, to me, one of the best picks that you can make for Lenovo. And it's a great 2-in-1 laptop, has touchscreen capabilities. It's just a great setup. All right, next we're looking at the HP Victus and the HP Omen. I'm going to pull these up out of the bottom of the stack here. The HP Omen and the HP Victus actually got some revisions in 2023. Let's start with the Victus. The Victus was really sneaky. And until taking a closer look at this laptop recently, it took me almost a full year to actually get one in my studio for review. This I did not know had revisions. They have softened the edges along the top cover and the bottom cover, making this laptop a much nicer form factor. Previously, in generations, it was very harsh, very sharp edges, and so they've just refined it quite a lot in this 2023 version, making this one of the best bang for buck laptops that I've seen on the market this year. Even compared to something from Lenovo, which if you guys have watched my channel for a while, you guys know that I have been called a Legion or Lenovo fanboy. Fair enough, they're making great laptops right now, but I would say that if I was gonna pick the HP Victus, versus the Lock, I would go for the HP Victus. It has a 16:10 aspect ratio screen, has much better build materials, and it has equal performance. So for me, the Lock loses to the Victus. Sorry, Lenovo, womp womp. So the HP Victus definitely stands out to me as a great budget-friendly option for video editing. You can get it in all sorts of variations of the SKU and components. You can get it from an RTX 4050 all the way up to a 4070. For me, the best bang for bucks for the Victus is going to be a 4060 with probably like an i5 or Ryzen 5 processor. A really nice bang for buck cost on the HP Victus. Now, if you're looking at the HP Omen, this one was redesigned in 2023. You can see we now have a ledge here. We have a lot more port connectivity on the back. Some on the side panels, but a lot of the ports are now featured on the back of the laptop. And it's a little bit thinner, a little bit lighter. We have a nice aluminum build quality. Great bottom cover, great top cover. I just think this is a fantastic revision from HP for their Omen model. Again, you can get this in a lot of different SKUs. My best recommendation for this would be an i7-13700H or the 13700HX and the RTX 4070. To me, that's going to be the best bang for buck, most performance out of this laptop for the HP Omen. Now, next up, we're going to look at the Lenovo Lock. Now, I have been guilty in calling this the Lenovo Legion Lock, but it is not. It is simply the Lenovo Lock. And this is going to be their absolute budget-friendly model. Now, I have gotten this laptop after a lot of different reviewers, and it is quite scratched up. But what that means to me is that this is not going to be their most durable laptop as far as keeping away scratches, nicks, stuff like that. So it's definitely their budget-friendly model. However, I would say that this is one of the best priced laptops I have seen as it's spec'd. You can get this laptop for around $809 for a Ryzen 5 and an RTX 4050, or even an i5 and RTX 4050. And to me, that $800 price range is starting to slip away. We're not seeing well-equipped laptops at that price point anymore. And so this one holds down that budget category with really good vigor. Definitely check the prices in the links in the description below. All the products I'm talking about will be linked in the description below. Of course, if you do make a purchase, I'll get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you. And that's what keeps this channel alive and the helpful content coming your way. So if you guys think about it, definitely make clicks and purchase through those links. I've seen some lower numbers this year. So I'm trying to keep the channel alive, and you're a part of helping that, so thank you so much. I hate to tell you more than one thing in one moment, but if you've yet to subscribe, go ahead, tap that subscribe button. It definitely helps show the channel's legitimacy and show that there's a lot of value happening here on the channel for creators. All right, so the Lenovo Lock, great budget-friendly option, but it is definitely budget. Budget materials used, it is a good one, but I would personally choose the Victus if I was comparing them head to head. Next is going to be my favorite 14-inch laptop of 2023, and this one is definitely on sale now. I was just on Best Buy's website, saw this one for $1,000. It wasn't the OLED version because this laptop does come with an OLED panel. That's an option. It's not all of them. It's an option. You can get an OLED panel out of this laptop, but the non-OLED was on sale, so keep that in mind. This laptop has the best optimization for an RTX 4050 that I have seen out of any laptop. I reviewed it and I was shocked. You can edit 6K footage out of an RTX 4050. So think about if you want that extra ceiling, I would get it with a 4060. Comes with the Ryzen 9 7840HS. And as far as the processor is concerned, the model I reviewed came with the Ryzen 7 7840HS processor. This is just a fantastic laptop. I love the build quality. I love the trackpad. 16:10 aspect ratio display, and you can get it in an OLED for top color gamut range and color accuracy. Okay, next up on the list is going to be the Asus Republic of Gamer Flow X13. This would be my favorite thin and light laptop for video editing. It is going to be thinner than the Lenovo Legion Slim 5. It's quite substantially thinner. And it's going to have more performance as far as the GPU is concerned. You cannot get the Slim 5 in RTX 4070. You only get it in a 4060. So keep in mind, if you want a little bump in performance, you'll go with the X13. Now, this is a magnesium alloy chassis, so it's very thin, light, durable, scratch resistant. I've had this one for over 6 months, maybe almost a year now, actually. And I mean, I don't exactly treat these gently. I'm not abusive to them. I mean, people freaked out when I throw them. But that's okay, because I can throw them and still catch them, because I've done this a lot. But I do treat them well, I treat them normally, like I'm going to toss it in my backpack, or put it on the table, or toss it in the air. So it's durable, we'll just say that. Thin, light, we have the XG mobile port. There's just a lot that this laptop has to offer. You can see I can even kind of scratch my nails across it like that. And then it wipes right off. So really nice durable material. Okay, next up, we're gonna be looking at the Samsung Galaxy Book 3 Pro 360. This one did make the 4K list. However, it does come with an i7 1360p. So it's gonna be light 4K video editing. If you're gonna get into some more heavy 4K video editing, one I actually think I forgot to mention on this list is the Ultra. So the Samsung Galaxy Book 3 Ultra. That is one I would look for more for, higher end 4K and even 6K video editing, because it does come with an RTX 4070 with the i9 version. So I'll definitely include that one in the description below. That's a great option as well. But these laptops are big. They got a big 16-inch OLED panel. They're beautiful laptops. They got great build quality. To me, they're like replacing the Razer Blades as the de facto like premium Windows laptop. I'm just not as impressed with the Razer Blades lately. They're just really expensive, and yeah, they have more performance options but they're more gamer focused, right? My channel is more creator focused. And so for me, the Samsungs make much more sense for the creators than the Razer Blades do. Give or take, yell at me, I don't care. Okay, Asus Republic of Gamer Zephyrus G14. This is the 2022 and 2023 models I'm talking about. If you can find a 2022 model, I would no doubt pull the trigger. The reason is the GPU from 2022 from Radeon, the RX 6700S and 6800S, has been to me the gold standard of the G14. It was like the pinnacle of their performance, like bang for buck. It was a $1,549 laptop. It destroyed 6K video editing. Had like a 13-minute export time, if I'm not remembering that exactly right. And then we had very smooth playback, and it was all for $1,549. Then the 2023 model comes out with the RTX 4060 for $1,599, and it just lagged in performance. It had like a 15 to 16-minute export time. The playback was decent. Even Photoshop lagged in performance, and I was comparing that on a price-to-price comparison. You went up to the RTX 4070 and those issues subsided. We saw great playback, great export time, great results in Photoshop. However, for the bang for buck, the best G14 I have seen in the past 3 years has been the 2022 model. It's just without a doubt to me the gold standard, which is why this year in 2023, this became my favorite laptop and the G14 slipped out. Maybe in 2024, with their newest revision, they will redeem themselves and take over for my favorite compact 14-inch gaming laptop for creators. But as it stands right now, the Legion Slim 5 is still my favorite for the latest releases. But I would say over the past 5 years, the G14 from 2022 has been the best compact 14-inch gaming laptop. Okay, next up, we're going to look at the miracle child, the Apple MacBook Air 15 M2. I went on record to say that this laptop was a 1080p, maybe 4K video editing laptop, and that I wouldn't recommend it for 6K. However, I went to CES, and this was the only laptop I took. And I knew I would be editing 6K B-raw footage. I knew I would be. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to take a risk. I want to see if this thing has fantastic on-the-go battery life and performance for any workload I throw at it. So I was editing thumbnails. I was editing 6K B-raw footage. Now, what I would do is I would edit it, then I would color grade it. So keep in mind, I wasn't color grading, then editing. I would edit, go ahead, add all the color grade, and then export. For the 6K footage, I had projects that were anywhere from 3 minutes to about 8 to 9 minutes. So the playback was smooth. So I started my video editing session at a coffee shop with no power adapter plugged in. I was just running on battery power, and I had about 95% battery. About 3.5 hours later, I still had 45% battery left. And I had smooth playback, smooth editing, and my export times were what shocked me even more. I had a 5-minute video. It took me about 9 to 12 minutes. I didn't time it exactly. I should have. It took me about 9 to 12 minutes to export that 6K video to a 4K resolution. So I exported at 4K full quality resolution from a 4K timeline. It was 6K footage. I was blown away. I thought, you can edit 6K footage on this M2 MacBook Air. And the model I have specifically is a 512 gig SSD. So it's about $1,500. And it just absolutely blew me away. I thought this is crazy. Like if I would try to do this on any other Windows laptop, no offense Windows, because I love Windows laptops. It's what I mainly talk about because I believe they do have the performance overall for what we need as creators. But I was really, really happy to see the MacBook Air deliver because I needed it to and I wanted it to. This is my travel laptop. It is so good on the go. It's durable. I had it thrown in my backpack with a ton of other camera gear, and it just took a licking and kept on ticking and showed me great performance. All right, not going to belabor the point and continue on. The next one I have in the lineup is, of course, the MacBook Pro 13 M2, an even better price laptop with the same powerful M2 processor. So you'll get very much the same results as I saw with my MacBook Air, except it actually even has a fan, so it'll even have better performance because it can allow that CPU to heat up a little bit more and then use the fan to cool it. So it should show even better performance. All right, so now from there, we're going to look at the Lenovo Legion Slim series. This laptop is awesome. I have been a huge fan of Lenovo Legion Slim series for a couple of years now. The reason is it takes the awesome Lenovo Pro 5 and 5i and thins it out and then puts an aluminum top cover, aluminum bottom cover, but then we have a plastic keyboard deck. But the aluminum top cover and bottom cover are super durable, super rigid. This laptop is a tiny bit heavier than you would expect because of the aluminum materials, but the build quality is fantastic. Great connectivity, great ports on the right, left, and back side panel, and it has amazing performance. This one comes with the i9 13900H and an RTX 4070, but you can get it in all kinds of SKUs. You know, like I said, we have the slim version here, the Slim 5 that's aluminum top and bottom cover. So the Slims from Legion are truly my top pick. If I was going to buy a Legion laptop, I would get one of the Slims. I would get either the Slim 5 14 or the Slim 7. That is what I would choose. I wouldn't go for the Slim 5 16. It's got plastic top, plastic bottom. And so overall, I like the Slim 7 and the Slim 5 best for the aluminum that they come with. Now, let's go ahead and look at the Mac Daddy of best bang for buck laptops from Lenovo, and that's going to be the Lenovo Legion Pro 5. This is going to have the best performance and optimization. If I were going to choose any 16-inch laptop and I said I want to get the best performance for my money, I would choose a Intel i7 13700H or the 13700HX, depending on if you got the budget for that little extra oomph in performance. And then I would get the RTX 4070. The RTX 4070 is where it's at. It's going to have that best bang for buck. It's not going to be too overpriced. Usually you can find them for around $1,600 to $1,800, but when they're on sale, you can actually find them for even less. So check the links in the description as 2023 laptops are going on sale. If you can find them, that's going to be fantastic. But honestly, yeah, out of all the 16-inch laptops, this is going to be the one that over the past 2 years has shown me the best performance at the best price point and has great build quality and longevity. I mean, these have not given me any problems. My editor uses the Lenovo Legion Pro 7i. So she's got the i9 with an RTX 4070, and that thing breezes through 6K footage. The i7 is maybe gonna be 20% less powerful, if that. So the i7 is definitely the way to go. Next on the lineup is going to be the Strix Scar series. This is actually the 17, but I'm showing the 16 here as far as the price is concerned. We have the i7 13650HX and an RTX 4060. Great laptop. We have 100% sRGB and 91% Adobe RGB for that panel. That's a great panel. If you're wanting something with insane performance, this is the Ryzen 9 7945HX and the RTX 4090. And this one comes in, I think, around the $3,200 to $3,500 price point. So if you want to never have any issues with 6K, 8K footage ever, this is going to be your jam. Now, let's go ahead and talk about GPUs. As far as GPUs are concerned, if you're going to be using 4K footage, you really only need an RTX 4050. Unless your 4K footage and your 4K projects are insanely complicated. An RTX 4050 in this day and age will do it. If you want to be safe, get a 4060. That'll be more than enough. It's only when you're getting into 6K footage that you really want to make sure you have an RTX 4060 or an RTX 4070 like the Legion Pro 5i. For me personally, 6K footage, an RTX 4070 is the best bang for buck. Now, you can go ahead up to a 4080 or 4090 if you just want to guarantee no issues. If you have complicated projects, a lot of color grading, a lot of 6K footage in your timeline, maybe stacked with all kinds of B-roll, then a 4080 or 4090 will definitely be the trick. However, you really only need a 4080 or a 4090 if you're going to get into 8K footage. If you're an 8K laptop video editor, you definitely want a 4080 or a 4090. I mean, I would say go 4090. Because that is some crazy robust footage. And I know not everybody has access to 8K footage because the cameras are very expensive, but that would be my recommendation as far as the different resolutions are concerned. 1080p, you can actually skip the GPU. But as far as the different resolutions, that's where my mind is at for GPU. Now, CPUs, honestly, the GPU is going to be a little more important because an i5 processor, let's say the i5 13600H, if I'm remembering the SKU correctly. Gosh, they changed so much. 13600H with an RTX 4060 will be great for 6K video editing because it has enough single core performance to get the job done. But you want the GPU to make sure you're supporting it. And you want to make sure you complement that with 16 to 32 gigs of RAM. Where a lot of computers get in trouble is they have, affordable processor with not a lot of RAM and not a lot of GPU. So if you can get an affordable processor with enough RAM and a nice GPU, then that's going to be like a great price point for you. Okay, next we're going to be looking at the Asus Republic of Gamer Flow X16, the big brother of the X13. So it's going to have all the same features and functionality. It's going to literally look exactly the same, except it's going to be bigger. It's going to have the same keyboard deck without the numpad, nice large trackpad. It's going to be 2-in-1, so it's going to fold over, have a touch screen. This is a great laptop for creators who aren't only video editing, but are also going to be using this laptop for maybe doing some editing on thumbnails, some photo editing, maybe a little bit of digital art for their projects. So this is a great flexible laptop. Honestly, I think you'll be fine with this year's model, the 2023 or even the 2022, because we had the 4060 and the 4070. And so as long as you have 4060 or 4070, you're really good, especially for 4K or 6K video editing. If you want to be safe, like I said, go for the 4070, but the 4060 showed great performance. So it's up to you. Now, the MacBook Pro 14 and 16 M3 Pro and M3 Max, at that point, like I told you, this thing edited 6K footage, and it's an M2 Air. So honestly, in my opinion, here's how I would handle the MacBook Pro lineup. I would skip M2 completely. As far as the Pro, for this one, I liked the M2. It showed great performance. But for the Pro, when I was looking at the different performance between the M1 Pro or M1 Max and the M2 and M2 Max, very nominal. Very, very nominal. But where we saw the biggest jump in performance was from M1 to M3. And most of you would be like, well, of course, Ben, like one generation is usually only 20 to 30% increase in performance. Exactly. So if I were you and I was looking for a MacBook Pro, I would either save some money and go for an M1, or I would buy the latest and the greatest and go for the M3. I would not try and save a little money on the you could save a little money in the M2 because it's about the same performance as the M1. But if you can find a refurbished M1, you can get an even better price. But what I'm trying to say is the biggest performance jump is going to be from the M1 to the M3. And if you're doing M3 Pro or M3 Max, good heavens, you can edit 6K and 8K footage all day. Especially if you're using DaVinci Resolve or Final Cut Pro, these things are going to be blazing fast. Premiere Pro is going to be very fast as well. It's just that the Apple Silicon is much more optimized for DaVinci Resolve and for Final Cut Pro than it is for Premiere Pro. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, fantastic laptops. There's nothing to say except they're great. They're optimized, they're Mac OS. What else could you want? Next is going to be the Legion Pro 7i. Like I mentioned, my video editor uses this. She edits all my 6K footage, and I never heard her complain. She complained a little bit about an Acer Predator Triton 500. She had that one. It was pretty glitchy. So that's why I really don't recommend Acer products too much. Acer, if you want me to recommend you, get your act together. Actually, I did recommend one Acer product in the beginning, the Swift 3. We'll let that one slide. Her Lenovo Legion Pro 7i, never any issues. Super fast. i9 13th gen processor, RTX 4070, blazing fast. And I believe she has 32 gigs of RAM in that one. So keep that in mind. Now, we are looking at the Asus ProArt StudioBook Pro 16 OLED, the best functional laptop on this entire lineup. I was considering giving this one to my editor. And as she's editing, she might be like, why didn't I get that one? Why did I get the Legion? Because this one looks really cool. But there's this dial here. And this dial is actually super practical. Very, very efficient for improving your workflow. You can basically set up to scroll through the timeline, change tools. You can make it to where you can like scroll and click cut or whatever it might be. You can program that dial all to yourself. And then you have, if you're doing any sort of 3D modeling, which you're video editing, so you're not, but it also has all the different function keys. Now, the main reason I probably don't recommend this laptop is because I wish this was a click trackpad. It is not. You only have manual click buttons for this laptop, which to me makes it a little bit of a hindrance. Sorry, it's kind of dusty. I haven't reviewed it in a while because I've been waiting for a new one and they never sent me one. This is the 2022 model. I never even got a 2023 model. Wah, wah. Okay, back to the video. This is an OLED display, so super color accurate. It's going to have 32 gigs of RAM. It's going to have an i7 processor, and you can have an RTX 4070, 4060, and even a 4080 in this laptop. So great build quality. It's amazing. It's thin and light. It's amazing how light it is. Like, you don't expect it to be so light. And it really is an awesome build quality and build assembly. Tons of port connectivity, SD card reader. You even have a network port. Yeah, you even have a network port on this one. So you can do super fast upload times for footage you're uploading, whatever it might be. Man, such a good laptop. To me, this and the Lenovo Legion Slim 7i are like neck and neck competitors. I would say this one wins out from a feature standpoint. All right, next up on the lineup is going to be some laptops that are now from 2024. You can see 3 of the laptops on this lineup have new processors. We have the i9-14900HX in the MSI Vector 16, which is now available. We have the Alienware M16R2, which is now available. And then the Razer Blade 14, which is coming available. I don't know if you can actually get that one shipped to you yet, or if it's just available for ordering. But it is now available on Best Buy. I've seen it. The MSI Stealth 16, this one is ready to go. i7-13620H and an RTX 4070. I love that it's last gen processor. You know, it's not the latest 14th gen. They're going to keep it that way, but you have the RTX 4070. It's going to be plenty of performance. And then, of course, we have the Asus Republic of Gamer Zephyrus Duo 16. So great laptop there. You're going to have dual screen. You're going to have a Ryzen 9 7940HX processor and RTX 4080. So beast in performance. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is laptops to come in 2024. These are laptops that are coming available, and I've either seen available for purchase or I know they're coming out, and they're ones that I know are going to be great. And you should definitely keep an eye out for them. And if you can wait and you want the latest 2024 laptops, these are the ones I'd be waiting for. Lenovo Legion 7i. The reason not the Pro is because the 7i is built for creators. It has a color accurate display, and it has an RTX 4070 as well as an i9-14900HX. So when it comes to the Pro version, that's going to be for gamers. It's not going to have this color accurate display. It's going to focus on the refresh rate. So where the 7i focuses on having better color accuracy and color gamut range, the Pro 7i focuses on refresh rate and response times. That's one of the big differences there that you need to know. Now, the Lenovo Legion Pro 5i going to have a fantastic panel with great color accuracy. We're going to have up to an i9-14900HX. So basically, you're going to have almost the same laptop, but a little bit more affordable. They're starting to blur the lines a little bit this year, which is kind of annoying because I liked how it was a little clearer last year. But once they hit the website and once we, see the SKUs that are available, hopefully they'll delineate themselves on which one you should buy. But I'll be doing full reviews to help you with that buying decision if you're interested in. Lenovo Yoga Pro 9i. This is the one I'm anticipating most. This is a brand new laptop. They've never done this before. They have an Intel Core 9 185H, which is their latest Intel Core Ultra, plus an RTX 4060 or 4070. So I'm really hoping for great efficiency for battery life, but then also great performance with the CPU SKU. Now, the coolest thing is, in the past, we've not seen these like Yoga, more like power efficient laptops with up to 64 gigs of RAM, and it's one of their configuration options. So if you go to order this on Lenovo's website, you're going to have a great configuration option of up to 64 gigs of RAM, which that's fantastic. Also, it has a mini LED display. Some of you might like that. Some of you may not. Mini LED displays are a little bit less power efficient. However, they don't have as much worry about burn-in. Everybody hates this fear of burn-in from OLED displays. That was like a decade ago, and people are still talking about OLED burn-in because they don't get with the times. They don't realize technology changes. Who would have thought that this computer can edit 6K footage, but it has a processor, but it's a better processor. So OLED is not as scary as it was 5 to 10 years ago, in case anybody was on the scary train. But this one doesn't have a mini LED display if you are on the scary train. So you can get off the scary train and get a mini LED display. Okay, anyway, the MSI Cyborg 14, great price point. Coming out this year with the 13th gen SKU. They're not going to refresh it with the 14th gen, so it's going to be a better price point. But you have an RTX 4060 or 4070 out of that laptop. So you get that more affordable SKU of a CPU, but complemented with the GPU you need for great video editing performance. I love that laptop. I saw it at CES. Great build quality. It was light and had a translucent bottom cover, so it was really cool. I really enjoyed that one. Now, next will be the MSI Creator 16 AI. This is a laptop that if you want to get the latest Intel Core Ultra and you want to get a powerful GPU, whether it be a GeForce gaming GPU or a Quadro RTX workstation GPU, this is going to be the flexible design for you. It's going to have great features like a mini LED display with 100% color gamut range. It's going to have up to 64 gigs of RAM. It's just got a lot of nice customization options. And then all the MSI laptops this coming year are actually coming with 1 terabyte of SSD. So that's one thing they really said they were focusing on at CES is not having any laptop with a small SSD. They're like, we're just going to give people a big SSD. We're going to not charge them out the wazoo for it so we can be a great vendor and improve our options for people, which I think is a good idea. Okay, next is going to be the 2024 laptops to come and some that are now available. So the ones that are now available are going to be the Asus Republic of Gamers Strix Scar 16. And when I say available, I'm not guaranteeing that these are going to ship, but I'm seeing them on websites and you can make a purchase. Something like the HP Omen 14, you can make a purchase, but they're not shipping yet. Hopefully they'll be shipping this coming week. I've heard like early February they're shipping, but we'll see. I'm going to probably get an order on one. I'm going to buy one myself because I'm like, this is like a legendary laptop. And then the MSI Prestige 16 AI OLED, that one I don't know if it's shippable either. So if you want to try and purchase that laptop, see if it ships, be my guest. Again, links are in the description below. I would love if you would order through my links. It supports the channel. And we're seeing a little bit of down sales through Q3 and Q4 and Q1 on my channel. So trying to keep it alive. So when you do purchase through the channel, it does keep it alive. So if you've got some value here, I definitely appreciate it if y'all purchase through those links. The two that I'm really looking forward to are going to be the Asus Republic of Gamers Zephyrus G16 and G14. Brand new models, got the lightning slash on the back, thinner. Going to have the Ryzen 9 8945HS for the G14 and the Intel Core Ultra 9 185H. I am so curious the performance differences between these two. I want to get them with the exact same GPU, and we'll see if Intel or Ryzen is the winner this year for performance. Both have 100% DCI-P3 OLED. Don't do the OLED. It might burn. It might burn. It might burn in. I'm kidding. But OLED displays on that, so if you're scared of OLED, it's not going to be the buy for you. I really feel bad now. I've really harped on people that are afraid of OLED. Okay, we got to do some massaging now. If you've enjoyed this video, gently, ever so gently massage that like button. People who smash the like buttons are crazy people. Don't listen to them, but you can massage that like button. If this video has also brought you some value, go ahead and subscribe. I know they'd say in marketing, never ask somebody to do more than one thing, but darn it, I'm asking you to do more than one thing. And you can do it because you're a capable human being. And they don't believe in you. That's why they don't ask you to do more than one thing, because they don't think you're capable. I think you're capable. And lastly, if you're going to make a purchase, I would love if you use the links in the description below, as it does support the channel and keep this mission alive. And it also feeds my video editor, so she's happy as well. I believe you're capable of all these options. Fourth one, if you want more direct benchmarks of any of these laptops, I have filmed full reviews, and you can check out the full benchmarks, my full thoughts on all these different laptops in depth. So definitely check out those videos on my channel. I'll see you in the next one.